Hey guys, Keith Allen from Material Indicators, and today we're going to do something a little bit different. A couple days ago, we had a kind of a roundtable call with some of our premium channel subscribers, and it included myself, one of my co-founding partners, Fred, aka Material Scientist, aka the Mad Scientist. We had Crypto Hammy, we had XBT3D, we had Alex. And during the call, Fred gave us all a live overview of the brand new, coming soon, Material Indicators FireCharts Dashboard Beta. And been working on this for a while. It has been anticipated for a long time. And through that time, Fred has just put in an insane amount of work and come up with really a comprehensive set of global analysis tools in addition to the charts. So going to give you a broad overview of what's there. This is not a full demo by any stretch of the imagination. And in fact, there's so much there that we are going to be doing individual tutorials on each of the charts and data tools provided. But I want to give you guys a sneak peek, a glimpse of what is coming very, very soon.
So this is actually now the new dashboard, right? Just a beta version of it, the current state of things.
It looks really nice.
And we have, not before we just had FireCharts, right? And now we have these three markets. We have spot, futures, and options. And on the spot, we have FireCharts, as well as fractals and global analysis, which I will get to later on. And then for the futures, we have as well FireCharts for the futures market, and then the funding heat map to show you that the funding is really a market-wide phenomenon, not just tied to a single coin. And for options, there will also be a version of FireCharts, not as you know it, but a version of it. And here we have the options flow. For Binance just for now. Eventually I'll also do the Ribbit, but for now it's just Binance. And what this chart, I mean, we have several metrics here, right? This is not just so in the beginning we just had FireCharts, which is on one metric, and now we have 30 or so.
Wow.
Fred, since you have it up and you're on the options on the options flow, you share with us a lot in the channel how the options action is related to our actual price action on spot. We have a close coming up, a weekly close on Friday, right? Mm-hmm. And a monthly close. Can you show us how what we're seeing now relates to the current price action and what we might expect to happen tomorrow based on what you see in the options chart?
Actually, for this month, it's a bit inconclusive. It's for the previous months. If we look at, which one was it? Let's see, type. Yeah, I mean, this was pretty clear, right? So you had, so this is the total CVD across all expires and across all strikes, and it's just showing this as a heat map for the call type options. So, for example, here, in this distribution top, sorry, you see that we have many people who sold calls because they wanted to fade this move, and this is pretty much what happens. So if you sell options, then you bet against volatility, and you bet against price expiring above the level where you sell these call options. So that took the steam out of the bull market. Not necessarily, the Binance caused this, but it was certainly correlated. So I don't think Binance options have any effect on the total market, but I think it's more the professional traders on there who know what they're doing and actually make good trading decisions.
Smart money.
Smart money. So in this case, they did the smart thing. They sold call type options and made a ton of money through earning premium. And yeah, I mean, once we started dumping again, they kept selling call type options because it was just a consolidation phase. So selling options means you're shorting volatility. You expect price to consolidate. They did this at the top. They did this at the bottom. Except for here, when things started to turn, they started buying call type options. A lot of them, right? Everything from 30K up to mid 40s was bought call type options. And by the way, there's two types of CVD to express. You can look at the CVD. You can tally up the base units and how many contracts are bought, or you can look at the notional value. How much dollars, or in this case, how much USDT was spent. So this chart here is just a base currency. It shows the number of contracts, but I'll also show you the one with USDT in a moment. So in this case, they bought a lot of call type options until mid 40s, but they sold the 50K call type options, which was, my indication for they don't expect price to go beyond 50K, and it didn't actually. At the expiry, we closed just below 50K. And I think I tweeted about this at the time when we were here somewhere around 35K. I said that we were probably going to go towards 50K, but not beyond, and that's what happened. And in this case now for September, it's not so clear, as you can see. I mean, there's a little bit of buying call type options, but there's also selling here beyond 50K. So it looks like we're going to consolidate a little bit, for the rest of September. Maybe we'll have something different in October. I don't know.
So and are those bids at 60? Is that for another product?
Up here?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are calls at 60K, but I think they were already sold.
Oh, right.
So, but this is, a number of contracts. We also have CVD by type. This one shows the USDT amount, and it generally looks the same, right? Except for this huge spike where someone bought. I know by the way, the template is a bit bugged here right now, so there's a Y offset. So when I point at this here, I'm actually pointing at this little red dot here. So there's a little bug in the web app. So they bought 5 million USDT worth of 55K strike call type options, which was obviously a mistake. I mean, if you looked at the raw data, it was a 1000x price jump, from $13 to $1,500 or more even. No, from $1.3 to $15 or something. I don't know. It was huge anyway. And so
you're going to rule it out to dyslexia.
It was a $4 million oh shit.
No, the thing is, it probably was an algo mistake, but the weird thing is that it kept happening still 12 hours later. So I don't know if there was a severe bug and somebody just didn't notice or didn't monitor for a whole day, or if this was done on purpose. Yeah, I mean, you can also switch the put type options here. And here it was also very clear. I mean, it was telling the same story. They sold put type options. They didn't expect price to go below 30K, and they started hedging up here at 50K. And now it's not so clear here. There's a bit of hedging and there's not much put selling. If you can...
Have we had similar uncertainty in the time frame of that, Fred?
What do you mean?
As in, like right now, basically, there's no clear signal. I'm just wondering, have we had similar historically kind of uncertainty in the options for however? Because I don't think this is an old product, is it?
Well, the thing is that vanilla type options on Binance only exist as of December last year, and the API only went live in January. And I started collecting in February.
Okay.
So there's not really much historical data.
And do you see an uptick in volume?
I can actually show you that in a moment. So in this case here, this is the base currency CVD, so the number of contracts. And again, you see here selling of put type options. So we're unlikely to go below 40K, but there's some hedging here between 40 and 50K. So we're probably gonna range a little bit for the time being, consolidate around 50K, which is also what the Fractal is saying, right?
Yeah.
That would me personally remind me of fall and December of last year when we were consolidating below resistance. So yeah, I'm taking bullish vibes here.
So this is the total CVD per type, but we can also have more granular data if you go look at a CVD by expiry and type. And here you have a slider where you can select the expiry that you are interested in.
Oh, that's cool.
In this case, the closest monthly expiry is next week, which is also a quarterly expiry on Deribit. And here you can have a more granular look if you want to figure out which uptick in CVD on the total chart was caused by or where this is from which expiry and from which strike and from which type. So you can have a bit more granular data. Here it was also interesting. Check out this guy here. So they bought around 35K, while just before BTC pumped to 50K, and then they started taking profit, and then they actually went into negative notional CVD. So they completely closed their position there. It's interesting how you can see individual trades like that because there's not many going on Binance options right now. It's I think a few thousand trades a day.
Do they know you're monitoring them?
You know what comes to mind when I see this pull down menu right here?
What do you mean?
Of all the different charts that you have? I'm going to need another monitor.
No, Keith, what you need is another new desk first.
Right.
Come on, you guys. I'm on a 13-inch laptop and I manage. So please.
Listen, you're
only trading 100 plus assets, Veronica.
You're a superhero.
So Sean asked about the volume earlier, and this is also a pretty good indicator. The volume is a magnet in this case, and this is why I also overlaid the volume weighted average price. Mm-hmm. So it's it takes the average across all the strikes, and that's this green line here. So back in March, April, there was a lot of volume up here, as you can see. The VWAP went up. But then they started buying a ton of ITM calls, so in the money calls down here at 30K, and the VWAP dropped drastically, and price followed shortly after. And then they did the same thing again, with the 25K ITM calls, and this is where price still kept dropping, and it generally this volume acted kind of as a magnet. Though I think it's not that Binance causes the market to move like that. It's probably more smart money that makes these trades.
I mean, there's some great trades there.
Yeah. And you can also use the VWAP as support and resistance indication, by the way. If you just look at the recent price action here, it bounced off the VWAP a couple of times, even just now, a few days ago.
Mm. So this points to consolidation as well for now.
Yeah. So it says we're probably gonna retest 50K or higher.
Right. But the big
Shitcoin party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, you can also subdivide the volume by type, so you can see where did the volume come from? Did it come from call type options or put type options? And in this case, it's also pretty indicative. Anyway, the focus for today's meeting is looking at these metrics. So yeah, I mean, you can also look at the trade frequency per strike price, so the number of trades for each strike, and there was a lot of trades for these long-term or for the monthly expiries, right? But here you see a lot of short-term trades. There was a lot of trades for the weekly expiries, and that's a bit opposite to what we see in the spot market. In the spot market, the trade frequency dropped with price. This is just because retail left, because of the alt exodus. But here we see the opposite. We see more activity for the short-term stuff. What else do we have? So a lot of people look at the put to call ratio, so the number of put type options divided by the call type options, and that's this bottom graph here. But what I've also done is show the put call ratio for each strike, and in this case you can see that it often bounces off of them. So if people overestimate the downside risk, this is where price bounces, right? When people get bearish, the price reverts. And you see this happening a lot. You see it happening here. You see it happening here, and just now again. What else do we have? The opposite of that, so the call to put ratio. I don't know if this is very conclusive. You had a little bit here at the top, but there was just a little bit of that here in the middle of nowhere, where it didn't really tell us anything. So I don't know.
No, there's nothing like there's very little liquidity around. Like on the first half of the chart, there's nothing below. Actually, there's nothing below it anywhere.
Mm-hmm. But the interesting thing is that you see a lot of. The ratio of calls to puts is only populated above price, and for puts it's the opposite, right? You see a lot of puts below price, and you see a lot of calls above price. So It tells you that people buy or trade a lot of out of the money puts and a lot of out of the money calls, but they don't trade so much in the money calls and in the money puts, which is fascinating. we also see something similar on Deribit. There's actually very, very little in the money call type options, and that has to do with the type of the contracts. And on Deribit, you have inverse contracts as opposed to Binance here, where you have contracts that are settled in USDT. And actually, the thing about inverse contracts is that if your call type option is too deep in the money, so if you, let's say price is here and you buy a call type option at 30K or something like that, then it actually starts acting as a short rather than a long.
Yeah.
And so the payoff for call type options on Deribit is not that great, and I guess that's why they're not traded so much. What else? We have the options price map. So here we see how much of a return each contract gave, but this is the average across all the expiries and across, and it's also interpolated in the Y direction. So in this case, we saw a lot of call type option returns here near the peaks, near these local peaks, right? Weirdly enough, we saw even more activity, once we bottomed and started the uptrend again, which kind of tells me there were a lot of informed traders here who knew we were going to go up. And
the current situation is kind of, again, neutral.
Yeah,
nothing to
neutral.
see here.
Yeah, nothing to see. Okay. And for put type options, it's the other way around, right? You make money on the way down. So those
are the ones Sean will like.
they really went after these put type options on the first break of the market structure, and then again on this dump down to 30K, and they made a ton of money here. It's 5 to 10 times return on any of these contracts. But again, as Sean said, now it's not very conclusive. You don't see a lot of returns here.
That's quite interesting because it kind of demonstrates that, to me anyway, again, we're at an indecision point. Yeah, that's curious.
So
not much conviction either way.
Yeah. Maybe let's look at some of the market-wide metrics. So in this case, we see the trade frequency accumulated for every week. So it's actually daily resolution, but it accumulates the number of trades for every week. And so you see that there was a ton of trading activity near the top, and the trading activity dropped drastically in this range, in this 30K range. But then it started picking up again as of August, going into September.
Well, what's curious to me when I look at that is during the kind of early bit of the bull run, or I guess the most up bit, the trade frequency wasn't that high. So you go back to kind of beginning of the year, later last year, it's kind of like almost like retail went, oh, bang, let's join now.
Well, a lot more people came in the market, I think.
It's funny that you said that. If we look at how much money was spent, so if you look at the weekly, where is it, CVD? Yeah, the weekly CVD. Then it's actually exactly what you just said, Sean. You see you actually only see buying, net buying at the top. Previously, there was more selling.
It's sailor strategy: buy high, never sell.
Yeah.
We can also look at the returns. So the monthly returns are probably easier to see. So yeah, now the monthly returns are negative. So everything blue means that the price went down. Everything red means price went up, and that's return multiples. So it starts at 1, right? That means no change.
Okay.
And if it's, for example, this color here, or let's say red, I think that's 2 times, so it doubled. And if it's down here, way in the blue, it means that it lost something like 75% of the value. So you can see that people started going into alts already here at the end of, or even end of July, going into August, but now they started selling alts in September.
Which would be similar maybe to near the all-time high, is it, or am I misreading that? No, they were still buying the dump.
Yeah, so
the start of the dump.
Yeah, in this distribution range, they bought alts, a lot of them, until Bitcoin topped here, end of April. And then they started selling them, especially here once we broke the market structure and dumped to 30K. They started selling alts, and only in July alts started performing well again, going into August, but now they sold again.
So what I don't understand is like that blue to red says cumulative returns. So when I see blue, in my mind, I see people with underwater positions. I don't see why it means selling. Like it's a negative return. Like, does it mean?
Yeah, I mean, price went down. It's not, you're right. It doesn't necessarily mean that they sold. It's just that price went down.
Yeah. Okay,
right.
but
So
we don't know. I mean,
maybe
I'm holding a lot of alt positions that are underwater, but I'm overall bullish. So I'm happy scuba diving them.
Right.
They are. Some of them are down. 20%. Fine. Yeah. So this does not mean that there is like a market-wide sell-off on alts necessarily. There could be, but we don't know.
Well, it's just that nobody is bidding them up. It's
I mean, it makes sense. Like, why did price decrease? Because people sold more than they bought. So yeah, from that perspective, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, it could be the same as as Alex said, same as September 2020, right? A year ago. This is also where alts were underperforming relative to Bitcoin.
Yeah, like the end of DeFi summer. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe it's the same. I don't know. We can.
Could we be entering another distribution phase?
What's curious is, maybe I don't know how to read it, but it's like the other very clear blue areas are after a significant move down, which I don't know. We're not really okay. We had a little pullback, but not really
20% move.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, but it's still, we went from 28, and we're sitting at 47 is and it's in relative terms, that's a pump and a half,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess maybe people are also more cautious and aware of this decision point, like,
if that's true, then we're definitely going up. I mean, if people are aware of a trap, we're going up more.
Fred, is in these charts, is Bitcoin historically different than the rest of the alts, or is everything correlated?
I mean, you can see that in some cases.
Down at the bottom there, Fred, there are different coins, I'm guessing, on the y-axis. There's a lot of blue in the bottom relative to the red.
Yeah, so these are actually so the coins are not sorted alphabetically. They're sorted by cumulative return at the last value.
Okay.
So yes, all the negative return stuff is at the bottom, and the most positive are at the top. So actually,
What are those coins we need to take out of our bots?
So
yeah, like will we be able?
That's a tough access to read, dude.
Yeah. That's what I. Oh, okay, so we can expand.
yeah, you can zoom in.
Good.
So
FTM, perfect. Yeah.
Apparently, don't buy Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi down, XTZ down. All the Binance leverage tokens, so they're performing badly.
That's interesting.
But why is XTZ down high return if it's currently in an uptrend?
Well, it went down a little bit in the last 2 days.
If XTZ goes up, then the down token goes down.
Exactly, but it's currently red, so it means people have a green P&L, right?
I don't know. The weird thing about these leverage tokens is that sometimes they make no sense. So, for example, on this May 19th crash, right, a lot of people bought the down tokens thinking they were gonna make a lot of money, being hedged. But the way they are calculated, apparently the down tokens went down with spot price, and a lot of people got pissed.
I mean, it's a freely tradable. I mean, its price is ultimately set by the market as well, yeah. To some extent, so.
Yeah, the thing is actually the Binance is in control of how leveraged they are. So the leverage is variable between 1 and 3 times, and you don't know exactly, how leverage is going to evolve over time. So in some way, Binance is in control of that.
Sounds like a thing from Binance to take retail money.
Yeah. Can we see like the full list or make the screen bigger, Fred? Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, you want to expand the whole list or?
Oh yeah, or maybe if after the chat you can send it to us, the expanded list.
I can send you the chart and then you can play with it.
Oh yeah, that would be fantastic. Like, just would be nice to go through my positions if there is something that I should definitely drop.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Cool. This is my favorite.
Is it running active data, Fred? Is it caught up? Or are you still on?
So this is from before we started the call, like 1 hour old.
Okay.
Nice. This is fantastic.
This is the monthly view, but we can go more granular into. This is for the returns. I only have monthly, but
Can we go to the future one?
Futures, yeah.
And
no. I mean,
wait.
Veronica wants favorite buttons on there too, Fred.
So
alerts, favorite buttons, and I don't know, expected future return on all altcoins.
Veronica, since you own just about every coin, surely every coin's a favorite.
So I'm pretty sure you'll like this one.
Oh yeah.
So it basically shows how correlated the entire market is. So this is the price change for every alt, right? And I've clipped it at -2% and +2% daily price change.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see that they're all, either red or all blue. Yeah. There's, very little, very few coins that are going against the market.
Yeah.
And another thing is that if you use this as a trading signal, then you can, right? This is what's pictured here above. Basically, buy all the green, sell red, or don't trade alts when you see a red signal.
Right.
And it seems to work. The strategy seems to work pretty well. You have a lot of selling up here. You have all the buying at the bottom here, and currently there's a sell signal, but it's not the daily close yet. So, just got to wait until the daily close. And then
how is that acting as a signal, Fred? That's just reflecting what price movement has happened, or am I missing something?
So at the daily close, you would look at which color the dot is. So if it's green, you buy for the next day. If it's red, then you sell for the next day.
Okay, so it's kind of indicating we went up today, momentum is with us. Or am I misreading what it is?
Yeah, it's basically momentum, yeah.
This is very cool.
Yeah,
Right.
This is very cool. Yeah. What I'm actually excited about is because there's like 80% of this new dashboard I don't understand and probably not going to for the next year. But this is going to bring in so many more really smart people that are going to buy this and want to use this. So like our chat's going to be full of like big brains, I think. That's kind of what I forecast.
I don't know. I kind of see that a lot of people are going to ask me questions and that I want to.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I'm not going to be able to help you with that at all. I'm just going to say, look.
You know, your strategy here, Fred, is what you do is you launch it and say, look, I'm going on sabbatical for a month, and just get yourself a new Telegram account and watch quietly.
Yeah, but I mean,
so many ideas, Sean.
Yeah, but I mean, some people are gonna come in for this, and they're gonna know what this is and use it. So, like the average person in the main channel will not understand shit about this. Like the same way.
I mean, what this is showing is that you can use altcoins to trade Bitcoin, right? You see the flow into alts and out of alts, and this is how the market moves. Still,
yeah, I mean this part I get, but like all the rest from the options and whatnot is just like, yeah.
I mean, have you considered incrementally releasing this so that a genuine question, so that the flood of data is because like there is genuinely be a massive support issue, I'd imagine. I mean, you remember FireCharts, which is really not that complicated. You still get people going, What does the line below the price mean? You know?
You don't even know the chat that I had today.
So actually, this is only even though it's 30 metrics, it's only a small subset of all the metrics I have. And, the problem has always been taking things from research into production.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So the problem is that Fred has data ADD. And keeps coming up with all these incredible metrics, and they're all currently in one dashboard. Yeah. They're not segregated at the moment. So it's at the moment it's all or none.
I'm actually pretty good with wrangling data, but I suck at writing production code. So if somebody wants to take this and write a proper site, I'm happy to pass it on.
It's perfect. My concern is just looking, when you unleash this amount of info on the retail world, the amount of questions you're going to get.
Yeah.
Generally, when in doubt, just read the labels, right? And this is what I tell people, who ask me what this means, is I just tell them to read the axis label. So you have time at the top here. So it's time series. Then you have the BTC price here. So you know that, this top chart here shows BTC price over time. Then here on the left, you have all the pairs. So you know that, it's a market-wide indicator across all the alts. And the color is the price change. I should maybe indicate that this is daily price change. And then here at the bottom, you have the fraction of all the coins that had positive return days.
Fred, how come you capped it at 2% on the price range?
Because there were so many outliers, and I just wanted to see if the entire market moved as one, and it does.
There's an obvious question that's going to be asked here, which is why red?
So
red has a very specific meaning for most traders. Yeah,
Brad asked me the same question, and this is the cool warm color map, right?
Okay.
If it's basically a temperature scale. So at 0, you have the freezing point, and everything below 0 is frozen, and above it's hot.
Okay.
And don't worry.
You know what I mean. Most traders go red is bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
On the top graph, you have the traders colors, and below you have this flipped temperature scale.
It's just that there's no really good color map with green and red and something neutral in the middle.
I'm personally cool with it. I'm just saying it's going to be the obvious question for anybody who just looks at trading it.
And reading the axis labels and knowing what the data is only part of it. And everybody can
that's another 1% versus 99.
It's how to apply this data to your trade.
Yeah, what does it mean, and like blah blah. Yeah.
And so you guys probably don't know this yet, but we're coming up on a 1-year anniversary of not since we founded Material Indicators, but since we released a product for sale. We worked for and tested for a long time and aggregated a lot of data before we were willing to charge anybody for anything. And so we're coming up on the 1 year. You guys have been here long enough to know how long this has been in the works, this development, and ever since Fred parked his PhD, he has probably accomplished more in the last few months than he did all last year, which has been a remarkable amount of work. But we're gonna release this to the premium community so that you guys can bang on it for a little while and maybe find some things that might need some attention before we unleash it to the world. But you're asking all the right questions and pointing out a lot of things that we share in terms of concerns and questions. And it's going to be interesting to see how it gets interpreted and how it gets used and what we discover over the next month or so as we start banging on it. I'm dying to get it out where we can all use it freely. And we've been playing with it internally a little bit, but the data is not always current yet. So I'm really eager to get my hands on it to where we can be really actively trading with it.
Are you planning to make a bunch of concurrently release it to the general public with a bunch of explainer videos?
Yes. So once we start rolling this out, Fred and I are going to do some live streams with him, and it's way too much to do all at once, right? We're going to tackle like one chart at a time and make them digestible.
Man, Fred, fair fucking play, mate. I don't know, and I know you haven't even shown half it. This is really
amazing. That was maybe
amazing. I think this is gonna have some effect over on Twitter and some people piling on. Definitely.
And by the way,
what else do you have globally, Fred? Just as a matter of interest.
So there's actually the tables for the CVD, so you can track the order flow for the last day. That's for yesterday at the daily close. You see that BTC was most sold at 66 million, and BNB was most bought at 27 million. And then was followed by Luna, ADA, XTZ, and I should probably also do the price change, daily price change. Yeah, then the same thing with the trade frequency. Brad used this a lot for filtering out MTF signals to see which pair is traded and which one is not. In this case, BCH down only had 600 trades that day, and actually Sol out-traded Bitcoin.
Again,
there were more Sol trades than there were Bitcoin trades.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
When was this?
That was yesterday, daily close.
That's trade frequency.
It was on the
number of
after
trades.
the Solana downtime, right? Oh, no, that was the day before yesterday, maybe. Is the spot of futures?
This is spot. But eventually there will also be futures. There will probably also be a global analysis for the future market.
Nice. Honestly, this is something I imagine big funds to have like internally and not have it known to the public. So I guess brains at Alameda have such tools, maybe specifically have designed this stuff for themselves. But yeah, you go and release it for the public, which is nice.
Yeah, the jackpot.
That's going to be our edge, is that we're not actually going to tell anybody how to use it.
Just figure it out yourselves.
How can we help, guys?
Say again?
How can we help? Just shut up and stop taking your time, I guess. This is the best.
Pretty much.
We want your honest feedback, okay? And if you're concerned about giving your honest feedback to Fred, give it to me, and I'll give it to Fred.
Yeah, Sean said.
Yeah. I'm actually going to use that as everything that I want dealt with. I'm going to say came from you. Listen, we need the feedback. You know, Fred's put a ton of work into this.
Oh yeah.
And we know data-wise how valuable it is. We also know that we do need to try and simplify for the average user, whatever the average user of this becomes, right? At the moment, we aren't able to segregate this out away from FireCharts. So initially, people are going to be getting it until that can happen. I also have a feeling that as things evolve and we start using this, and you guys start using this, we're going to learn some things. Oh, yeah. And that's what I think is super important. That and that's got us a long way. When I don't know how long you guys have been around, but when FireCharts first came into development, I mean, it was a black and white thing, and it was tiny dots, and it was like we didn't even have a price line, and it, like, just to see the evolution. And you got to realize, Fred is self-taught, right? He's done all this and figured all this out on his own. So that in itself is remarkable. But getting feedback from folks like you that use it has helped us kind of shape things. I truly believe that the relationship between us and the community really goes both ways. There's a lot of value in having a group of traders like this share feedback with us. And so it's not just how many can we sell, it's how good can we make it. And we rely on our community to share that feedback with us to help us improve our products and create tools that help you guys trade. So for those of you in the community that are going to gain early access to the beta release of the Material Indicators FireCharts Dashboard, you guys are going to get to bang on it. You're going to get to play with it. You're going to get to trade with it, and share your feedback with us to help us fine-tune the products and the way that they're presented to help give you the tools that you want and that you need to help you improve and increase your opportunities and mitigate risk and hopefully become more profitable and successful traders. We're going to roll this out to our premium community members very, very soon and give them a chance to bang on it first. And when we're ready, we will release it to everybody else. But again, can't thank you guys enough for your support and your help and your input. And we've got a lot more coming. So stay tuned.